Okay. This is 152. Right. It's 100. Just have a comparison of what we wrote and then what we actually. Got it. 8.7.
Good afternoon and welcome to our town board meeting of October 16th, 2025. Today we have an administrative item and then the Town of Hempstead Town Board public hearings on the assessment roll of the Greater Atlantic Beach Water Reclamation District for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026, and the preliminary budget of the Town of Hempstead for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026. Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll.
Supervisor Ferretti.
Here.
Councilman Dunn.
Here.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Here.
Councilwoman Miller.
Here.
Councilman Muscarella.
Here.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Here.
Councilman Schneider.
Here.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'd now like to call on Luke Magliaro Jr., who is our Director of Veteran Services for the Town of Hempstead. He will be leading us in the pledge. Luke Magliaro heads the Town of Hempstead Veteran Services office here at Town Hall, where he assists veterans and their families to file with the VA for their well-deserved benefits, as well as counseling and directing them to other medical and other mental health professionals as needed. Luke's a certified accredited veteran service officer certified by the Office of Veterans Affairs of the United States and holds accreditation from the American Academy of Experts in Traumatic Stress, specializing in the field of PTSD and war trauma. Luke's a retired commander in the U.S. Navy, having served as a decorated naval flight officer. He is a combat veteran, having served across multiple operations in Vietnam, including Operations Eagle Pull, Baby Lift, Frequent Wind, among others, in the lead up to the fall of Saigon in 1975. Mr. Magliaro has been a member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars for over 50 years. He's held various positions at the post, county council, district, state, and national levels, becoming All-State and All-American Commander. He's also a member of several other veteran organizations, including the Military Order of the Purple Heart, Vietnam Veterans of America, and the American Legion. Luke also served his community for 25 years as a member of the Inwood Fire Department. I would now ask for Luke Magliaro to come us and lead in the pledge, and please give him a round of applause.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And salute. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you again, Luke. May I have a motion to suspend the rules and consider item 1 before the 2 public hearings? Moved by Councilman Dunn. Can I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Laura Ryder. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the motion.
Supervisor Ferretti.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
You vote.
Yes.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Supervisor Dorothy Gooseby will now be recusing herself and will not be participating in any debate, discussion, or taking a vote on this item. Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, please call item number 1.
The resolution ratifying and confirming the Deputy Supervisor's compensation.
Okay, thank you. I do not have any slips on this item. Does anyone wish to be heard on this matter?
Pearl Jacobs, Uniondale. I certainly don't begrudge anyone from making a 6-figure salary, but my question is, how many hours does Deputy Supervisor Gooseby put in work to amass this upward six-figure salary. Listen, I just want to make a comment. I live in Uniondale, and nothing happens for Uniondale. That's why I'm asking this question. Anyone care to answer that question?
The deputy supervisor is on call, just as we all are up here, 24/7.
Listen, like I said, I asked how many hours does she work? I myself worked for corporate America, and I did make a six-figure salary, but I worked my behind off for it. And I was definitely on call 24 hours, 7 days a week. So I think as a resident paying taxes, I should ask, and I should have an answer. Listen, you can go around, take pictures, you can walk around and la-di-da, but what is she doing to earn a salary as such?
Are you asking the
I'm
separate
asking a
question now?
question, and I'm not getting an answer.
Sure, well, you just asked a separate question. The deputy supervisor's responsibilities are outlined in the town code.
I asked you, what does she do?
The deputy supervisor's responsibilities, which she fulfills, in my opinion, phenomenally, are outlined in the town
Well,
code.
in my opinion, as a resident of Uniondale, she does not fulfill that. I do not begrudge her for any salary. If she earned it, I would say give her a raise, and she's getting a raise $1,675 for longevity. And as a resident, those questions should be answered by me. My questions that I'm answering.
I did answer your questions, ma'am. Do you have another question?
Okay, this is another attack on our residents' monies that are being misappropriated. As far as I'm concerned, this is government welfare.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Jacobs. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak on this item? Yes, please. If you could please provide your name and address for the record.
My name is Lynn Krug, Garden City.
Good afternoon.
I just want to ask a question about why are you doing a salary increase when the elections are coming up? This is so close to election time. Is this prorated? How is this happening?
Okay, there's no salary increase to the deputy supervisor's salary. That is not being proposed.
Well, you're giving her a raise.
No, there is no salary increase for the deputy supervisor position.
Then why are you voting then?
We are passing a resolution for the compensation for deputy supervisor. There will be no increase for the deputy supervisor position from 25 to 26.
What is she making now?
It's within the resolution, ma'am. I don't have the
Okay. I mean, I think it's very close to election time to give anyone a raise.
I'm just trying to get the answer. Give me a second. Say.
35,916.
35,916 in 2025, 35,916 in 2026. Thank you, ma'am. Does anyone else wish to be heard on this item from the public? Do any members of the board wish to speak on this item? Okay, if not, may I have a motion?
I move the board pass this item.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Supervisor Ferretti.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor she's recused. Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Okay. I would now ask for Deputy Supervisor Dorothy Gooseby to come back into the chamber.
Oh, great. At least I told
What's that one?
you. There you go. You're good.
Welcome back, Deputy Supervisor.
Thank you.
Okay, as a reminder, for today's public hearings, every participant will be given one chance to speak for up to 3 minutes in accordance with the town board's rules. Today's public hearings begin at 2:30 and will be continued at 7:00 p.m. Each of the items are one continuous hearing today, so participants can offer their comments either now in the afternoon meeting or at the 7 p.m. evening meeting. Madam Clerk, please call the public hearing on the assessment roll for the Greater Atlantic Beach Water Reclamation District for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026.
Our first public hearing is a proposed assessment roll for the Greater Atlantic Beach Water Reclamation District for fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Now, I don't have any slips on this item, and this, again, is just on the Greater Atlantic Beach Water Reclamation District. Is there anyone who has not signed in that wishes to be heard on this item? Okay. Does any member of the board wish to be heard on this item? Okay, if not, may I have a motion to continue this public hearing to 7 p.m. this evening?
I move to continue this public hearing to 7 p.m. this evening.
Second.
Supervisor Ferretti.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Now we're moving on to the budget portion, and I would just remind everyone that every participant will be given one chance to speak on the budget for up to 3 minutes in accordance with the town board rules. Today's public hearing, again, began at 2:30 and will be continued at 7 p.m. The budget is one continuous hearing, so participants can offer their comments either now or at the meeting tonight at 7 o'clock. Madam Clerk, please call the public hearing on the preliminary budget of the town of Hempstead for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026.
This is a public hearing for our preliminary budget for the town of Hempstead for fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026.
Thank you. Members of the board, as stated on today's agenda with the supporting documents which were duly posted to the town's website 24 hours in advance, I first move to include estimated ending fund balances in the preliminary budget, and second, I move to amend the deputy supervisor's compensation as stated in the preliminary budget. Do we have a second on both motions?
Second that motion.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the motions.
Supervisor Ferretti.
Aye?
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Yes.
I guess yes.
Do I do it?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. I want to thank everyone for joining us today as we present the Town of Hempstead's 2026 budget. This budget is a product of fiscal responsibility and a strong commitment to the taxpayers of our township. Last month, I submitted a tentative budget that cuts taxes in the general fund by 18%, resulting in a $5 million cut to the tax levy. This tax cut was accomplished through smart spending and increased operational efficiency, and I'm proud that I'm able to present a tax-cutting budget that reflects both our values and our priorities. This $5 million tax cut represents real relief for our residents and puts money directly back into the wallets of every single taxpayer in the town of Hempstead. A budget is more than just numbers on a page. It's a document shaped by the same challenges we face as residents. Challenges like record high inflation, rising costs, and more than $11 million in unfunded mandates handed down from Albany this year alone. Yet despite these challenges, we've delivered a responsible budget that cuts taxes while maintaining the high-quality municipal services that our residents rely on every day. Just this morning, we celebrated an important milestone, the completion of our 100th mile of repaved roadway this year. We look forward to doing the same, if not more, in 2026. We've kept spending under control, and this proposed budget reflects the lowest staffing levels in over a decade, proving that we can do more with less. Leading by example, I cut the budget of the supervisor's office by nearly 10% on day one, demonstrating our commitment to responsible government. Today is about presenting the budget in a clear, transparent manner. Every dollar spent is outlined clearly in this proposal. A full copy of the 2026 proposed budget is available on the Town of Hempstead website for your review. I want to once again thank the members of the Hempstead Town Board for their partnership and support. Together, we are proud to present a bipartisan, tax-cutting budget for 2026, one that reflects our shared mission of responsible government and real tax relief. The Town Comptroller, Mr. John Mastromarino, I will now ask you to say a few words and present to the public.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. The budget that is in front of you does clearly indicate that the town will have reduced its tax collections from 2025 from 289 807, 252 to 284, 796, 156. This is the total town tax levy that the board is responsible for. This is the only tax levy that the town board and yourself is responsible for. It does not include the commissioner-operated special districts, which there are 14. They are districts that are within the town that are independently operated. They have their own budget hearings. Their boards are independently elected, and this board has no responsibility or authority over that tax collection. So as I have said, the amount of town tax levy is 289, 807, 252, 284, 796, 156. It does not include, as was reported in the media recently, it does not include the commissioner-operated districts. So that tax levy is going down by $5 million.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes.
Marino. Let me ask you a few questions, just so everybody in the audience, everybody that's watching home, and the media is clear on our town budget. So I'm looking at page 1 of the budget book, and I see multiple lines here, and I see the numbers you were just referring to listed under the total town tax levy. If I heard you correctly, the 2025 town tax levy was $289,807,252.94. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, that total town tax levy, that includes how many funds in the town budget?
58.
Okay, just try, I don't know if everybody can hear you, if you could just.
Yeah, 58.
58, okay. And out of those 58 funds, how many of those 58 funds impact every single town of Hempstead resident in terms of what they pay into?
There is only one, the general fund.
Okay. So only one out of the 58 every single resident pays into, correct? The tax cut that you spoke about a second ago and that we're implementing for 2026 if this budget is passed, which of those 58 funds does that impact?
The general fund.
So is it a fair statement that the proposed tax cut would impact every single resident that pays taxes in the town of Hempstead?
Yes.
The 58 funds that are covered by the town of Hempstead budget, does that include the 14 independently run funds you just referred to?
No.
Let's talk about those for a second. Those 14 separate funds, do they have independently elected commissioners that create those budgets?
Yes.
Just speak
Yes.
into the microphone. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And did they create budgets for the 2026?
Yes, they did.
Okay. And did they raise taxes
Yes.
in total?
Yes.
Okay. And what was reported in the media, specifically in Newsday, when they took the total town tax levy, did they include those independently commissioner-controlled funds?
Yes, they incorrectly included those funds.
Does this town board have any legal authority whatsoever to change the tax levy in any of those 14 independently commissioner-controlled funds?
No.
So we couldn't have any control over their tax levy, fair?
Correct.
No more control over their tax levy than Milford, Pennsylvania School Board, right?
Correct.
Or Florida, correct?
Correct.
Or any other state or any other municipality. We have no control over it, correct?
Correct.
All right. So what do we have control over?
58 town control funds. This town board and yourself is responsible for preparing the operating expenses for the year, estimating the revenues for the year, and indicating the tax rates
So
for all 58.
if you look at page 1, the total town tax levy for 2025, 289, 807, 252, and 94 cents, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And this town board, I wasn't here, but the town board had control over that number, correct?
Yes.
Into the microphone.
Yes.
Okay. And for 2026, the number next to it, 284, 796, 156, and 10 cents. Does this town board have control over that number?
Yes.
That's the number we're voting on today, right?
Yes.
And is that number $5 million less than last year's number?
Yes, it is.
What do you call that, sir?
Tax cut.
Okay, let's tell the media and let's tell the other people here. Wonderful. Very good. Now let's talk about the reserves for a second, sir. Okay?
Yes.
Does this budget use reserves?
Yes, it does.
Okay, the 2026 proposed budget, right?
Yes.
Okay. How about 2025? Was there any projection of reserves to be used in 2025?
Yes,
How much?
22 million.
How about in 2024? Was there any projection of reserves to be used in 2024?
6.5 million.
So yes, right?
Yes.
Okay. How about 2023? Was there any projections of reserves to be used in the 2023 budget?
23 budget was 53.2 million.
Just yes or no?
Yes.
How about 2022? Were there any projection of reserves to be used in the 2022 budget?
Yes.
How about 2021? Were there any projections of reserves to be used in the 2021 budget?
Yes.
In any of those 5 years, were the projected reserves used? Was there more reserves used, less, or the exact amount?
Substantially less
In every single year, correct?
every single year.
Now, let me ask you, is it a fair statement that the New York State Comptroller in a 2022 audit said flat out that appropriation of available fund balance as a financing source is a common and accepted practice?
Yes,
And do you agree with that opinion?
absolutely.
Okay. And it's been done the last 5 years, correct?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mastromarino. Does anyone here wish to be heard? I do have some slips. Dorina Donna? Or Donna Donna? Hi, good afternoon. If you could just give your
How are
name and
you?
address, please.
Excuse me?
If you could please give your name and address.
Dominica Califano, 4043 Long Beach Road, Island Park, New York. First of all, I just want to let Laura Ryder know it is a disgrace what you've been doing to me and my family.
Okay, ma'am, we're here to talk about
Have
the
your little
budget.
boy-
Ma'am, we're here to talk about the,
Passione
ma'am,
that's sitting in the
please, if you
front
could let me
here.
ask you, direct you to
Well, I'm
speak on the
coming here
budget.
To let you know that your little worker
have-
here has been personally harassed.
Do you have any comments or
video.
questions on the budget?
Yes, I do have
Okay,
questions.
please
I'm a
provide
little
them.
confused that I am very polite when your employees are harassing and threatening me.
Ma'am, I'm going to ask you one more time, please,
Okay.
to direct your
I
questions to
am
the
a
budget.
little confused with Newsday saying that the tax cuts that we're having is not correct. You're stating up here saying that they are correct. I'm also trying to look in the budget. I've been back and forth to, thanks to Laura Ryder, to Building Department Courthouse. They were supposed to resolve a matter that I've been going back and forth for over a year. I'm trying to see where the wasted money is for Nassau County residents that are paying the attorneys to represent the courthouses with people that have permits, correct permits in place. I've been speaking to, trying to get it resolved with your town attorney, Macarone there. It's been over a year now. I was just in court. So I'm trying to look to see where in your budget that I could see how much money is wasted at the town of Hempstead Building Department when people appear in court.
Okay,
Was
so I
that
can
in
address
this
both
book?
your
'Cause I-
questions. I'll start with the second one, but do you have any other comments or questions in the next, before I address them?
Excuse me?
Do you have any further comments or questions, or would like me to address your questions now?
I'm to address the taxes because like I said, Newsday is not showing.
Okay, so with regard to your question about the building department, there's no wasted money in the building department, so you won't find it in the budget. With regard to the taxes, I can explain that to you. I just did. So the budget has certain funds, the 58 funds that are controlled by this town board. We are also required by law to include at the end of the budget the 14 special district funds that are controlled by independent commissioners elected by people who are in those districts. Those 14 funds, they are raising taxes. Their commissioners put forward a budget that raised taxes. We are required to include that in our budget book, but it is not part of the town budget. The town budget that we are passing today, that we put together, cuts taxes $5 million. Newsday couldn't figure out a way to say that we were raising taxes, so they did it this way.
They couldn't see that.
You asked the question, I'm giving you the answer. They saw it. You asked the question, I'm giving you the answer. We are cutting taxes $5 million. The special districts are not, but we must include them in the book. But that's why when you look at page 1, it shows you the town tax levy, which is decreased by $5 million. We are collecting $5 million less next year than we collected this year in taxes. Ask him. He'll be here. He'll come back. Ask him.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, ma'am?
I want to see if my matter could be resolved. I am a taxpayer here. It's been over a year. The judge did say that to speak with the town attorney, which I have. No one calls me back. I believe his secretary might have
Ma'am, I
retired.
gotta just limit you.
But
this
I
is a
know, but
budget
I'm
hearing.
speaking out loud, so it's on record.
All right. Do you have anything else with the budget,
That's what I was told by
ma'am?
my attorney, to come here, speak on record.
Okay.
And I'm asking you, since you're new in place here, to have your councilwoman Laura Ryder stop harassing people.
Thank you, ma'am. Do you have anything
And
else
your
on the budget?
employee, Matt Passione from Island Park,
Ma'am.
Island Park Dirty Boys Club, to
Okay.
stop harassing people in Island.
Okay. Next, we have Chris Jacobs. Good afternoon, sir. If you could please provide your name and address for the record.
Yes, good afternoon, Chris Jacobs, Uniondale. When discussing the budget, I do want to make a few suggestions of where I think some money should be allocated. Back in 2018, the former state senator Lane Phillips secured $50,000 for state funding.
I apologize, sir. I'm having trouble hearing you. Is anybody else having trouble hearing you? Yeah. If you could just.
Better?
Yeah, a little.
Good?
It's better, yeah.
Good. I just want to make some suggestions why I think some monies within the budget of the town of Hempstead should be allocated towards. Back in 2018, the former state senator Elaine Phillips secured $50,000 in state funding to launch the town of Hempstead LED stop sign program. Quote in the article, the signs which are illuminated when flashing LED lights will be placed in targeted intersections and crosswalks throughout the town in an effort to increase safety for students and pedestrians. Studies have indicated that the LED stop signs increase traffic compliance by motorists. Keeping kids safe while they travel to and from school is the bottom line. Since that time, I have seen locations sporadically throughout the town of Hempstead get the LED stop signs. I know there's one in Uniondale by Walnut Street, but however, there's other schools within Uniondale alone that have much more need for the LED stop signs, like California Avenue and with the Northern Parkway School, that has much more traffic on those streets there. So I've also seen the LED stop signs at different crosswalks at various parks in the town of Hempstead, and those parks are used maybe at least half the year, but not as frequent as a school. And I'm also referencing that I see where they had Valley Stream back in 2023 get one at the intersection of Forest Road and Brook Road. I see here in April 2025 in Lynbrook.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes, sir.
just if you can get to the budget question.
Yes.
You have a budget question, right?
My suggestion for the budget, I'm not too many questions, but my suggestion for the budget is money should be allocated that at least all the schools within the town of Hempstead have LED stop signs across, because right now it looks like there's selected schools, and the criteria for why putting them in certain schools, and other schools don't have them, when certain schools have them and have less traffic in the schools that don't have them and have more traffic, leading up to the fact that I just think that every school in their crosswalks that do not have traffic signals should have the LED stop signs. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I agree with you that those stop signs are very effective, and we will do our best to implement them as many locations as we can, in particular around schools. I think you're 100% accurate. So thank you. Lynn Krug.
Lynn Krug, Garden City, New York. I met with my friend who has been a CPA for over 40 years, and we both agree that this document is an embarrassment to our town. It is intentionally misleading, which undermines transparency and public trust. You've made a big deal that you are cutting $5 million in the tax levy from the general fund, or 18%. This is grossly misleading statement. And you deliberately fail to mention that the expenses of the general fund are actually increasing by $13.3 million, or 5.7%, well in excess of the rate of inflation. By hiding the general fund on page 40 of your document clearly is meant to deceive and mislead. To get your magical $5 million reduction, you are reducing the general fund reserves by a whopping $35.6 million, more than double the $16.3 million reserve takedown in Clavin's 2025 budget. If you had just retained just half of the reserves, or $18 million, your 26 general fund taxes would be increasing by $13 million, or 47%. Residents are primarily concerned that the total tax levy, according to the tentative budget, the overall tax levy is projected to rise to $389.3 million in 2026, a slight increase. But this is after a huge 12% hike in 2025. And this is only achieved by a $50 million reduction in reserves. If the reserves were not depleted, the total proposed tax increases would be incredible 13%. After raising taxes in 2025, amid warnings from Moody's about a potential bond rating downgrade, the decision now to deplete reserves in 2026 by $50 million is simply reckless. As we all know, that a ratings cut would significantly increase the town's interest costs. One glaring example of obvious waste in this budget is the town's expenditure of nearly $3.6 million annually on just postage, which is primarily for political mailers promoting the town supervisor, county clerk, and, I'm sorry, it's just reckless. And also, the figure is 9 times higher than the town of North Hempstead spends on this stuff. Okay, and their population, the town of Hempstead is only 3 times larger in population, so that's a huge expense. You have not demonstrated any concern for the well-being of town residents. Since taking office, you have literally...
Okay, thank you, Ms. Krug. Just a couple comments. Number one, the county clerk hasn't appeared on a single mayoral in the town of Hempstead since I've been in office. I could say that with certainty. Number two, the amount of reserves you indicated that were used last year is incorrect, at least as a proposal in the budget. It was $22.9 million, not what you said. And number three, the total tax levy that you indicated of $389 million is incorrect. That's the total tax levy, including the 14 independent districts, which are controlled by independently elected commissioners that this town board has absolutely no control over. The total town tax levy for 2026 is not $389 million, as you said. It's actually $284 million, which is $5 million less than last year. That is the $5 million tax cut. The next speaker is but thank you for your comments. The next speaker is Pearl Jacobs.
Pearl Jacobs, Uniondale. So I would say that you just stop playing smoke and mirrors with residents, dipping into the town's budget reserves, and informing residents that their taxes was cut is insulting to our intelligence. This is not considered a legitimate tax cut, no matter how many years you look back. And I have a question. I know it won't be answered, but I'm going to answer it anyway. What was the cost to taxpayers for distribution of the vast amount of mailers sent with the sole purpose of promoting your campaign that our taxpayers are paying for? I have at least 150 mailers from the last couple of months in my bag in my home. And people are talking about this. This is all throughout the communities. People are talking about this. The budget, the town of Hempstead budget desperately needs oversight. Taxpayers' monies should be transparent. Every councilmatic district's budget should be transparent to the public, depicting the budget amount that is allocated to every councilmatic district, because Uniondale, Roosevelt, communities as such, we do not get our fair share of budget monies. And that's obvious. It's all about, you can look and you can see that we do not get cared for properly. A forensic audit is desperately needed, and I'm certain that this will happen when Joe Schnabel is elected town of Hempstead supervisor. Transparency is sorely needed. The curtain needs to be pulled back to expose the town of Hempstead's misconduct with our taxpayers' money.
Okay, thank you for your comments. I disagree with your position that it's not a legitimate tax cut. It is absolutely a legitimate tax cut of 18% from the general fund, resulting in a $5 million overall tax cut for every single resident of the town of Hempstead. When you talk about reserves, once again, the last 5 years, that's what I look back. Every year there's a projection of reserves to be used in the budget. And in fact, the New York State Comptroller, Tom DiNapoli, Appropriation of available fund balance as a financing source is a common and accepted practice. Let me be clear. As a county legislator, I cut property taxes $70 million. My position as town supervisor is the same. I will always look to put tax money back in the pockets of residents. So I don't want to hold on to your reserves. I want to put it back into your pocket. Apparently you disagree. That's your opinion. But to say it's not a legitimate tax cut is simply factually incorrect. The town of Hempstead will collect over $5 million less next year than they did in 2025. That's a fact. Our next speaker, but thank you for your comments. James Hodge.
How you doing?
Well, sir, how are you? If you could just provide your name and address for the record, please.
Okay, James Hodge, you took about 5 seconds of my time. I'm wearing black because I am mourning what you are doing with this budget. I'm mourning that you was selected and not appointed. And the budget, when we talk about different, do you know how much money is being dispersed from the community development funds into the village of Hempstead?
Sir, we're here to talk about the town of Hempstead budget. If you have any comments or questions,
Town of
we'd
Hempstead
love to hear them.
budget that's part of the town of Hempstead, right?
If you have a question, please let us know.
I didn't know if I asked you a question. The town of Hempstead money is dispersed throughout the whole town of Hempstead, right? I asked you a question, and I was
I'm
wondering.
sorry, repeat the question. I didn't understand it.
Okay, because you're so ready to go against what someone is saying in this budget. Like I just want to say, for doing martial arts for many years, you have such an arrogant spirit, and the people here will recognize that. This man has been doing what he's been doing for a long time, and you're yelling at him talking about get in the mic. I don't care what nobody say. I can see what I see, and I'm telling you, the people that think you all nicey nice, you've been used to getting everything you want because you had a silver spoon.
Sure.
So in this
have a
budget,
question on the budget, please.
yeah, please. All right, my time running out, so let my time run. It's all about the budget because it's smoke and mirrors. And if you were so smarter than all of these board members that couldn't do what you're doing, that's basically what you're saying. And you're basically saying, I'm using the reserves because they used it this year. Just because they've done it before you don't mean that you have to do it. And I guess you're saying you were that smarter than all of the town board members here, that only you came in with the same company that did the audit and all of that before, or budgeting before, but you came up with it because you're so smart. Right?
Thank you. Do you have any questions?
No.
Comments about?
Yeah. You're not so smart. It's more of a statement. I asked you a question, and I was asking if you're planning on reducing staff. How do you plan on doing that within the budget?
We do not plan on reducing staff.
You don't plan on reducing staff?
Correct.
Is it proposed?
Well,
is there any cuts?
I believe there are two, but there have been reductions in staff due to the incentive that was put in place in 2025.
Okay, I asked that for being a civil servant for over 30 years. I'm always thinking about the union. But again, as I say, Joe Shinablo, former Marine, combat veteran.
Thank you, sir. Next up is Randy Quinteros. Thank you, sir. All right. Thank you.
Remember the name, James Hodge. You can look me up. And I don't like bullies either. So if you bullying up.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to please, your 3 minutes is up. We'd like to hear from Mr. Quinteros. If we could move on to the next one. Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Quinteros.
I don't like bullies.
Mr. Quinteros.
Good afternoon.
Please, Mr. Quinteros.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Your clock's running, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. If you give your name and address, please.
Randy Quinteros. I'm here from the Long Island Coalition for the Homeless. The reason I'm here is to ask just a few questions. Mainly, I see that there's some money for public libraries within the budget. I spend a lot of time in public libraries. A lot of our homeless neighbors are spending a lot of time in public libraries because that is where they can possibly get a respite, especially from the cold or the heat. They can access resources there. I just wanted to ask if there can be a recommendation with the money in the budget that public libraries get some sort of training and resources that could help aid the unsheltered. I deal a lot with public libraries, and the workers there, often feel that they are very undertrained when it comes to dealing with people who maybe are having a mental health episode, or or they just genuinely go to the library and say, hey, I need help, filling out forms to try to find some housing, and they aren't trained in the way to do that. So I was just asking if there could be a recommendation for training for our public libraries.
Okay, thank you. I know that many of the public libraries have independently elected library boards that have, jurisdiction over policy at those individual libraries. But it certainly seems like a reasonable recommendation
Thank you very
for
much.
them.
The other question that I have is, obviously there's a lot of money in the budget for public safety. And I just ask that, can there be a recommendation that some of that budget for public safety go to addressing unsheltered homelessness, rather than through enforcement, but by connecting public safety officers with some street outreach teams? There's plenty of nonprofits across Long Island that do street outreach that could help with unsheltered neighbors. The Long Island Coalition for the Homeless is one of them. So all I ask is that some of the money for public safety actually be used to tackle the root problems of crime and that being unsheltered homelessness, rather than through enforcement and just picking people up, taking them to a jail, rather than trying to get them into some housing, trying to get them into some resources so that they don't necessarily have to commit crimes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. Have a good day. Okay. I have no other slips. Do we have anyone else that wishes to speak on the budget? Yes, sir.
Mr. Supervisor, Ray Aurora, 3712 Terrapin Place, Seaford.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My question is, I have three questions. Outside counsel in this budget, as it relates to last year, could you comment on the status of the lawsuit for congestion pricing? Has that been finished? Are we still paying for it?
Mr. Town Attorney, if you want to comment on the litigation, to what extent you were able?
The town had a couple of setbacks with regard to its application in Supreme Court. However, we filed a notice of appeal, and at this time, we're proceeding with perfecting that appeal.
So, Mr. Supervisor, my request is, I agree with you about the lawsuit, but it seems like we're spending a lot of money on outside counsel. So, that's a concern. Second question is, how does the school bus camera situation affect the budget going forward? And what do you see as issues, not necessarily line items, but what issues do you see going forward into this budget? Where are we vulnerable going forward? I think insurance was a concern last year for the previous supervisor. What are your concerns?
So why don't we deal with the first question first, and I'll ask Mr. Mastromarino if he wants to comment on I'm assuming you're talking about bus patrol, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Mastromarino?
Yes, sir. Well, bus patrol revenue is very, very stable. It was on hold for a while earlier in the year. It is no longer on hold. And whatever fines are collected, the town receives its share of it, and it goes into the general fund.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mercer. I hope that answers your first question. With regard to the second question, there's always concerns about unfunded mandates coming down from Albany that you can't anticipate or expect. For example, you hit on insurance. You heard pension costs. That's another one that's always a concern. But there's also the positive of you don't know exactly where a certain revenue is going to be, hopefully more than you are anticipating. We budgeted very conservatively, Mr. Mastromarino, myself, the town board, and we feel that I don't want to use the words worst case scenario, but we certainly budgeted very conservatively. And just like the last 5 years where less fund balance was used than what was projected, I would certainly be surprised if that's not the case again in 2026.
I understand how you're using reserves, but are you concerned, does the town have any vulnerability but not getting federal money? If we don't get federal money, are we going to have to use reserves? Do we have any vulnerability there at all?
Mr. Mascherino?
We don't have any issues with the federal, what funds. Most of that comes through the state, and there is no indication that that's not going to happen.
How much of the reserves are you actually using?
Well, when you say actually using, like I said, it's a projection.
Well, how much are you projecting to use?
Yeah.
56 million.
As a percentage, you know that as a percentage?
Percentage of what?
Of the total reserves?
It's less than 25%.
Is that more than, you mentioned the 5 years, so I'm just trying to put that in context. Is that?
Yeah, I'll give you the, stop the. All right, just had it. Give me a second. So for example, in 2023, the projection was 53.2. And it came back at 18.2.
And the projection for this year is how much?
56. 56.7.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day. Does anyone else wish to be heard on the budget? Okay. Does any member of the board wish to be heard on the budget? If not, may I have a motion to continue this public hearing to 7 p.m. this evening?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Supervisor Ferretti?
Aye.
Councilman Dunn?
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby?
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller?
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Aye.
Councilman Schneider?
Aye.
Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn to 7 p.m. this evening?
Move that we adjourn until 7 p.m. this evening.
Supervisor Ferretti?
Aye.
Councilman Dunn?
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby? Councilwoman Miller?
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Aye.
Councilman Schneider?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you all, and we will continue at 7 p.m.
Okay, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the evening portion of the October 16, 2025 meeting. Tonight is a continuation of the Town of Hempstead Town Board public hearings on the assessment roll of the Greater Atlantic Beach Water Reclamation District for this fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026, and the preliminary budget as amended of the Town of Hempstead for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026, which began earlier today at 2:30 p.m. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Ferretti?
Here.
Councilman Dunn? Here. Councilwoman Miller? Here. Councilman Muscarella?
Here.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Here.
Councilman Schneider?
Here. Thank you. I would ask now that Councilman Dennis Dunn lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
Please American flag, place your right hand over your heart and join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. I'd ask that you please remain standing as we observe a moment of silence for Kevin Conroy. Kevin passed away last week. He's the former Town of Hempstead Controller. He was the Controller for 9 years, and he passed away unexpectedly last week. I would ask that you join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. As a reminder, today's public hearings began at 2:30 p.m. and will continue to 7 p.m. this evening. The public can watch the 2:30 p.m. portion of the public hearings on the town's live stream webpage. Every participant who did not speak at 2:30 p.m. will now be given one chance to speak for up to 3 minutes in accordance with the town board rules.
Madam Clerk, can you please recall the public hearing on the assessment roll for the Greater Atlantic Beach Water Reclamation District for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026?
Our first public hearing is proposed assessment roll for the Greater Atlantic Beach Water Reclamation District for fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now, I do have some people who signed in for the second hearing, but is there anyone here at Town Hall who wishes to speak on the proposed assessment roll of the Greater Atlantic Beach Water Reclamation District who did not speak today at 2:30? Okay. Does any member of the board wish to be heard on this item? May I have a motion?
Yes. I move that the assessment roll for the Greater Atlantic Beach Water Reclamation District for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026 be approved.
Second. Supervisor Ferretti?
Aye.
Councilman Dunn?
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller?
Aye.
Councilman Muscarelli? Councilwoman Ryder? Aye. Councilman Schneider?
Aye.
Thank you. We are now moving on to the budget portion of tonight's meeting. Madam Clerk, please recall the public hearing on the preliminary budget as amended of the Town of Hempstead for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026.
We have the preliminary budget as amended for the Town of Hempstead for fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And just once again, today's public hearing on the preliminary budget as amended began at 2:30 p.m. and it's continued to 7 o'clock p.m. this evening. The public can watch the 2:30 p.m. portion of the public hearing on the town's live stream webpage. Every participant who did not speak at 2:30 p.m. will now be given one opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes in accordance with the town board's rules. I'll also remind the public that the preliminary budget was amended at 2:30 p.m. to include estimated ending fund balances in the preliminary budget and to amend the deputy supervisor's compensation as stated in the preliminary budget. That amendment can be viewed on the website and through a live stream. Mr. Mascherino, our town controller, I now believe you want to make some comments on the proposed budget.
Yes, sir. I would like to just go through what exactly is in the town budget that the town board is responsible for, and what documents by law are required to be included in the budget document that are not the purview of the town board. It's 58 different funds that the town board is responsible for, and there are 14 commissioner-operated districts that have their budgets included in the document. And I'd like to clear up a misinformation that has been published regarding what exactly is the total town tax levy in 25 and what is the total town tax levy in 26. The important thing to understand is that the total tax collections 25 and 26 do not include any tax raisings by the special districts. I have to put into the record that the tax levy in 25, town levied taxes were $289, $807, $252, 94 cents, and in 26 it is $284, $796, 156.10. The total special districts for the commissioner-operated districts in 25 was $99,197,415.46, and in 26 it is $104,532, 070.65. The erroneous information that has been out there is the grand total of 389 and change on both years is town tax levy. That is not correct. And I wanted to make that clear for the record.
Okay, Mr. Mascherino, thank you for that. And just so everyone in the audience and those who are watching at home completely understand, how many funds are there in the town of Hempstead budget?
58.
Okay. And out of those 58 funds, how many of those funds does every single resident who pays taxes in the town of Hempstead contribute towards?
General fund.
So would that be
one fund?
One fund, okay. And that one fund is where the $5 million tax cut is coming out of, correct? Yes?
Yes.
So is it a fair statement that every single resident in the town of Hempstead will be receiving a tax cut as a result of this $5 million tax?
Yes.
Now, the other 14 funds you referred to, is it a fair statement they are special districts?
Correct.
And of those 14 specific special districts, is their tax levy controlled by independently elected commissioners?
Yes.
Does anyone on this town board have any ability whatsoever legally to amend the tax levy in any of those 14 special districts?
No.
What about illegally? Why are those 14 special districts included in this budget at the end?
There's state law that requires us to publish their budgets.
So we have to publish them, but we have no control over their tax levy, correct? Is that why on page 1 of the budget, you specifically labeled total town tax levy 289 and change, and then for 2025 and for 2026, 284?
Yes.
And is that the $5 million tax cut you were referring to?
Yes.
So just to be clear, for the tax levy that this board has the ability to pass, the town of Hempstead will collect $5 million less in 2026 than it did in 2025. Is that a fair statement?
Correct.
What do you call that?
I call it a nice tax cut.
Okay. So regardless of what Newsday may have published, they were wrong, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And anybody who's repeating that is wrong, correct?
Yes.
Now let's talk about reserves. How much reserves are projected to be used in the 2026 budget?
56 million.
Is projecting to use reserves something out of the ordinary in the town of Hempstead?
It is not.
Well, let's look back to last year. Were there projections of reserve to be used in the 2025 budget?
Yes, there was. Yes.
Yes. How about the 2024?
Yes.
Just make sure we get into the money, please. Was it in 2024, John?
Yes, there was.
Okay. 2023?
Yes.
2022?
Yes.
2021?
Correct.
Now, in fact, you familiar with the state controller, Mr. DiNapoli?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a fair statement that in his 2022 audit, he stated, appropriation of available fund balance as a financing source is a common and accepted practice?
Correct.
Now, in any of the 5 years that we just went over prior to the 2026 budget, where there were projected fund reserves to be used in the budget, in any of those 5 years, did we meet those projections, or did we actually dip into the reserves less than projected, or something else?
Each year, we actually dipped in less than what was projected.
And is that because it's been the practice of the town of Hempstead Controller's Office, as well as this board, to project conservatively in terms of expenses?
Yes, absolutely.
And in 2026, have we used that same custom and practice to project conservatively in this budget, sir?
Yes.
Okay, sir, thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now, I do have some people that signed in that wish to be heard. First up, Dan Oppenheimer.
Good evening, all. Thank you.
I'm sorry, sir, if you could just give your name and address, please, for the record.
Yes, Dan Oppenheimer, live on Bedell Avenue in the Incorporated Village of Hempstead.
Good evening.
Good evening. I listened to this afternoon's presentation on the live stream, and you repeat many of the same points on this. Again, as the controller just stated, I wanted to make sure that I know the right numbers. That regardless of who controls it, the total tax levy for the entire town of Hempstead, $389 million, a little over in 2025, and $389 a little over in 2026. Is that correct?
That's incorrect, sir. That's the town-wide tax levy. That's nuanced, but it's different. Those are independent districts that are controlled by independent elected commissioners. That is not the money that comes to the town of Hempstead for our expenses or anything else, nor is it anything that we have the ability to change tonight or at any other time.
I'm not asking if you control it. I'm asking, is that a correct total number for the tax levy for the town of Hempstead?
No, it is not. It is the town-wide, including special districts. The total town tax levy on page 1 of the budget is listed as, for 2025, $289, $807, $252, $94. The proposed amount, also listed on page 1 of the budget, $284, $796, 156 and 10 cents, actually more than $5 million less than last year.
I see that. So if I live in Hempstead and someone else in Oceanside or elsewhere, I'm not paying their special district tax.
Correct.
Okay. So who does oversee the special districts? You say that they are independently elected. Who has fiscal oversight over the district?
The elected commissioners. I'll give you an example. A sanitary district, they elect commissioners who create their own budgets. It's simply state law that it has to be appended to this budget, but we do not control it. So when Newsday likes to say that, imply that we do, after not writing anything for 5 days, they decide to figure out a way to try to make it look like we raise taxes. We in fact cut taxes.
So who would have oversight in terms of an audit or making sure that they are living up to their fiscal responsibility for their special district?
I can't speak to that, controllers or, state controller, whoever, the same people that would have oversight over this in terms of the town.
And you say that you don't have any control over them or their budgets, they're independently elected. Does the town itself provide any funding whatsoever to the special districts, any of the special districts?
No. If I just make one comment. What is deposited in the town bank accounts for tax revenue? Let's simplify it. We deposit $284 million of tax revenue in the town's bank accounts. The special districts, in their bank accounts, under their purview, their ability to spend it as they wish, subject to their independent audits by their auditors, that money is deposited into their bank accounts. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible.
I got it. So
we don't have any issues with their tax revenue. They collect it.
Thank you. My only question there was whether the town provides any funding at all to
No.
Thank you for that. Again, this afternoon in your introductory remarks, you stated that this budget puts money directly back into the wallets of every single taxpayer in the town of Hempstead. So, where's the money? I understand that you are claiming that you're reducing the tax levy. I doubt if anyone here has had a reduction in their taxes unless you agreed them with one of these numerous law firms over the last several years, or if at any point in any given year, if your taxes have gone down. So you're not actually refunding or rebating taxes back to any individual in the town of Hempstead, are you?
Well, so this is the budget for 2026. So it takes effect January 1st, 2026. So when you get your tax bill, this tax bill will be reflected in your tax bill, which is due January 1st, 2026. Of course, it's a 40-day grace period, so you get February 10th. But whenever your tax bill is paid, this tax cut will be reflected in that tax bill. Your first half general taxes will reflect this tax cut. Now, just to extrapolate a little bit.
I will check that. Thank you. I have very little time left.
No, don't freeze the time. Hold on a second. I got something else to say. So when we went through this and we worked on this and we said we're going to do a tax cut, I said, well, I want it to affect every single town of Hempstead taxpayer, not just people that are paying. For example, I don't know if you live in a village or not, but okay, you live in a village. So this will be applied to you as well, because every single resident in the town of Hempstead pays into the general fund. Okay, so I live in Levittown. I pay into funds that you do not pay into. So I wanted every resident to get this, whether you live in a village or not. And that's why it was in the general fund specifically, because it impacts every single resident in the town.
Thank you. I will check that on my tax bill coming up. Just one other item that you mentioned in the afternoon. You said you cut the budget of the supervisor's office by nearly 10% on day one. Now let's be honest about this. On day one, there were 2 supervisor salaries. There was yours and Don Clavy's. That is just a fact. You moved his salary to a different position.
Thank you, Mr. Oppenheimer. Thank you. Mr. Mascherino, can you please provide the budgeted amount in the supervisor's line for 2025, and then please provide the proposed amount for 2026 in the supervisor's budget?
Unless he was working for free.
I think it's page 38. My memory serves.
Okay. In the 38, page 38, the column 2005, budget amended, is $907,832.
That's 2025, right?
That is 2025. In 2026, it is $834,240.
That means what?
That's a $73,592 decrease. That is a little less than 10%.
Yes.
Okay. Our next speaker, Nita Mer. Thank you, sir, for your comments. Nita Merritt. Good evening. Please give us your name and address.
Nita J. Merriday, citizen of the world, and this is my, as I said earlier, my second fantasy island after spending almost 6 hours at Nassau County's $4.6 billion budget masquerade. Questions with regard to Parks Department's $6 million increase when we were told by, I guess, first half of the year, previous town supervisor that folks are involved with are happy to play bingo in Baldwin at Coast Neck Park. So I'm just curious as to where that $6 million increase is going to benefit residents. I too would be interested to see how that tax cut is going to reflect in my documentation, and it just surprises me, I guess. I don't know, most people take months or a year or so to create a budget, and you, Mr. Ferretti, were able to put your budget together in, what, 10 days? I'm just curious as to how that happens.
Are you asking me that right now?
Overall, yeah, I'm asking you.
Sure. I don't know what you're talking about. I assumed office August 5th. One of the first things I did was sit down with Mr. Mascherino and said, we are going to go through this budget line by line, and we are going to cut taxes, just like I did in Nassau County. You came to Nassau County many times, and we spoke, you spoke in public comment as well.
Yeah.
I was a legislator for 7.5 years. I cut the taxes in my time in office, $70 million. And one of the pledges I made when I became town supervisor was I was going to bring those same principles right here to the town of Hempstead. Day one, August 5th, I started working on it. It wasn't 10 days. When did we present the initial budget? It was September 25th.
September 26th.
That's like 56, it was actually day 50, wasn't it? It was day 50 in office we submitted. I don't know what you mean by 10 days, but.
So in other words, what was the previous supervisor doing on the money that was being earned during that time period? If it only takes 50 days, we're back to, we have legislative aides that are making almost the same amount of money as some of the council members. Unfortunately, if you're the only one doing the work, then, if you were the only one doing the work in the county, you're the only one doing the work here, then why do we save more money and just have rubber stamps for everybody else? And then we can just keep moving and possibly have more resources, because it's hard to find what are the funds that are available or the increase for our veterans, for our seniors, for our young people. What are those resources that are being put in place in your budget that's going to possibly keep people here or possibly keep our veterans safe from being evicted from their homes or decide that they want to blow their brains out in their homes? So again, since it's your budget solely by you, we have an Office of Compliance who's getting $171,000, and what exactly are they doing? What is their report? We're having tax on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yes, I'm saying those three dirty words, bearing the risk that I might have to be investigated by the Federal Bureau of Intimidation, but I'm still going to stand here to address these particular issues. So if you can answer any of those questions. It's your budget.
Stop the clock, please. Can you just give me one question you'd like me to ask? You gave me a lot there. I'm not really sure.
Okay, veteran services.
Sure. What's your question?
How much is being allocated? What is the increase? What are those funds being used for veteran services?
You talking about the veteran services in the county?
Well, you're in the town now.
I understand that, but there's a veteran service in Nassau County.
You said you're here now, working hard since August. But I remember seeing you in May, and you, as far as I knew, you were just trying to get the minority side to try to agree to give you the 13th vote, so you'll continue to not give representation across the full county. So what are you doing for veterans in the town of Hempstead? That's my question.
Is it a budget-related question?
Is it, aren't we here for budget?
Ma'am, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're asking me. Okay, our next, thank you though for your
You
comments.
didn't give me the, I put
Mr.
the
Felix
answer on the
Paprachi.
table and you didn't give me an answer. But that's typical.
I
I
don't know
asked
what
you
you're
about
asking.
veteran services for the town budget. I asked you in my time period, what were you doing
Okay.
for veteran services?
Mr. Mascherino.
We have services for all our residents throughout the budget. We have parks departments, we have services throughout the entire budget for anybody that wants to avail themselves of that, of those services.
Page number.
It's throughout the budget. There is no one page. It's
So there's no one page.
It's 196 pages. It's
Page
throughout the budget.
So you have no amount for the veterans that you run around here wearing your flag can and saying that you're doing stuff for our veterans. You cannot give me a page
Thank you,
number
Ms. Meredith.
that speaks to the services.
Mr. Felix Paprachi.
Typical.
Good evening, sir. If you could please give your name and address for the record.
Felix Procacci, Franklin Square. How will this budget affect the average tax bill?
So, sir, there's many factors that go into the average tax bill. There's a tax assessment, which you can't say for sure what assessment will be for next year because assessments can be changed depending on whether the county changes them, whether the person does work to the property. There's also base evaluations that are a factor. There's a whole formula, so you can't say for sure what somebody's taxes will go up or go down. What I can say for sure is that there's an 18% reduction in the general fund, which results in an overall tax levy decrease of $5 million to be spread out to every town Hempstead resident.
Last year, Don Clayton raised taxes $43 million, and he claimed for non-incorporated sections $65. Mine went up well over 140, I believe, every year. So this is 13 times less, roughly, I don't know, 5 million, so 5 into 43, 9 times less, so 9, you know, it comes out to about maybe $20 per household based on, you know, about 233 properties, argue that number. Anyway, why is the park's operating expense going from 40 million, 40.99 million to 46.5 million, a 13% increase? That's a very large increase.
Mr. Mascherino?
Yes. On page 134, you see all of the comparisons between 25's budget and 26 budget. So you look between the two columns, and you can see what line items have gone up.
Yeah, I understand, but what do you, that's a big increase. I need a descriptive thing. Looking at the line items really doesn't tell me anything.
Each line is described here. But which line are you inquiring about?
No, the overall, what's the effect? You're raising the whole budget by by $6 million. So I want to know why do we need to go up that high? I mean, that's way above inflation. So if you have no answer, then we'll move on to the next.
The items that the town is forced to pay is more than what you at your home are paying. We pay our pension costs to the state of New York. They are passing down increases. We also have health insurance costs that are foisted on us. We have materials and supplies that have, the expenses have gone up more than the 3% that they tout for the rate of inflation. Our insurance costs have skyrocketed. These are just, for example, the items that are in the budget that surely exceeds what the average homeowner pays year over year for an increase. And it's just what we are forced to pay as far as an increase in our operating expenses.
Okay, in the general fund, the overall number is going up by 5.7%. So what I did was I backed out the health care, retirement, Social Security, and still the overall number is going up 3.7%, which is above the 2.9% that the
I apologize.
CPI from
What fund is this you're referring to?
general fund.
Okay, the general fund is being reduced by 18%.
No, not the levy, the expenses.
Oh, I'm
Expense
sorry. I
side.
apologize. Okay.
It's going up 5.7%, and then if I back out those items you talk about, retirement, you know, and you have control over that because you hire people and you add to that. But anyway, even if you back that out, it's still going up 3.7%. So that's still above the rate of inflation year over year, according to all the data that I've researched. So why is it so, you know, it's in excess of the inflation, no matter how you look at it, you can cut it every way you want, exclude this, exclude that, and you still got the parks, the operating expenses going up 13%. That's contributing more to this than you could even think about inflation and stuff. If you could explain that.
Sure, Mr. Maximiliano.
Yeah, the same reasons I gave you for the parks budget are no different than the general fund budget. These are the same expenses we have to pay for regarding pension, regarding health insurance, regarding insurance, regarding operating expenses. These are the same items in each fund that go throughout the towns, each individual department. So it's the same explanation that we gave you for the Parks Department. You can apply it to Highway, you can apply it to the Water Department. These are things that we have to deal with in putting a budget together.
Okay, every year I foil the employee list with the salaries, and the list, I went through this today, I get it back in February, March. It's over $1 million in the supervisor budget salary items, and then they're saying it's 900 and whatever you said, 907 and 970 before. So how do you account for that discrepancy?
I don't know what you're foiling, so it's hard for me to say.
The salaries, every year you're required by the state to publish the salaries of all the employees. That number came out to over $1 million. That number came out to over $1 million, $1,030,000, I think, $1,030,000. And then the number that was given for the 2025 amended budget is 971, so there's a $60,000 gap there.
Okay.
And and also just the problem is when I looked at the employee titles, I know you don't give the names in the budget, but I got the names, I can't find equivalent salaries for each of the titles.
I gave you the extra time, let me answer.
Supervisor and, yeah.
So there could be vacancies, there could have been retirements, those positions may not be filled, and that would account for and by the way, it wasn't 970, it was 907.
Whatever.
But it could be retirements, it could be vacancies. I don't know if you foiled out another list, but I can only presume that that would account for the discrepancy.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's over $1 million. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Diane Madden. Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Madam Hempstead. I have questions about the animal shelter budget. I'd like to know, well, first of all, it looks like you've added another job. I don't know whose relative this could be, but dooryard crew chief. That's something new. Where can I find the TNR expense, crematory expense, the lawsuit expense for the 3 lawsuits against town officials, shelter employees?
So I'll let Mr. Mastromarino respond. I'm assuming that with regard to TNR, it's spread across the animal shelter budget and that any legal matters will be in the town attorney's budget, but I'll let Mr. Mastromarino respond.
As far as any legal expenses, they're in account 641320, legal services.
Right, but it says 60,000 on this line item, which is actually very reduced since several years ago. So I don't know where the money is being moved around.
It's not being moved anywhere. It's an estimate for next year as to what we think we're going to spend.
Okay, it's not in this budget, it's here, it says legal services.
It's in the budget, it's in the budget for next year, it's our estimate.
Anticipating $60,000 to defend 3 indefensible lawsuits?
It is our estimate of what we think we're going to spend next year. Yes, the answer is yes.
Well, that's very deceiving, quite honestly, because it's going to be a lot. It's probably more than 60,000 now to defend the lawsuits, showing up in court twice. The crematory services, where can I find those? Those are going up. They're killing cats left and right at the animal shelter because they don't have enough staff to do the cleaning. So where can I find the
Let me answer
crematory?
the question, I'll tell you.
Certainly.
It's account 641260, fees and services.
And in all due respect, and rest in peace, Kevin Conway, he used to have every single item here in public. He didn't send me to an account. He would tell me what the TNR was, what the crematory was, what the training position is. The training position is now gone and replaced with a labor crew chief. How about outside contracted vets? Where can I find that number?
642-110.
So I'm really not getting any answers, which quite honestly, Mr. Peretti, that's why you didn't go to any extent to make the public aware of this meeting, nor did the town board. And to think that there's an estimate of a $20 difference in a tax bill and to be out there raving about a tax cut is so disingenuous. And understand that it's very hard to trust you when you don't show up for a court subpoena. For me to come here and waste my time to be told write and find numbers, that is the job of your administration. What is in the health line? There's a health line. Could someone tell me what is in it?
Sure, Mr. Mascherino.
Yes, in the health line, you have animal specialty lab, you have Levittown Animal Hospital, the Pet Vet Care Centers, VCA Animal Hospital, Veterinary Emergency Group, Veterinary Medical Center of Long Island, Wantor Animal Hospital, and West Hills Animal Hospital.
And those, so what's the total expense?
$850,000.
A lot cheaper to hire a full-time vet. How about the mailers for the animal shelter, or the mail that's gone out recently? Where can I find that number?
Advertising and promotion.
And I believe that went down as well.
No, it's not. It's the same number. It's $10,000.
So that is in advertising? That's not advertising for the animals, that's mailers?
You asked where that expense was. I'm telling you where it is.
So it's basically campaign money, $20,000 of campaign money.
To do with campaign.
I don't see where the animals are ever advertised.
I can't answer your question.
Maybe you can answer, why did you need a store-yard crew chief at the animal shelter? Or
Thank you so much, Ms. Benton. Thank you for your comments tonight, and I want to thank you for acknowledging the increased staffing since I took the position of supervisor at the animal shelter, as well as the increased TNR, which, based on my review of the latest budget hearing 1 year ago, you indicated was critically important. So I'm very happy to have delivered on that promise to increase the TNR. Okay, our next speaker is Joe Shinaba.
Microphone and then speak to them.
Thank you, ma'am.
The TNR mobile
Ma'am,
unit
thank
is
you
a
for coming.
farce.
Mr.
It's a farce.
Shinabo, if you would like to speak.
It's a farce, so please stop saying you have a
Ma'am, I'm
mobile
going to
unit.
start the clock.
You
We're going to
remove the
get into the next person's
unit,
comment.
you remove it from the animal shelter, you
Ma'am,
deny
ma'am.
them service,
Ma'am, if you
surgery,
continue, you're out
and
of
you're
order.
claiming this.
If you
This is like your
continue,
budget.
if you
It's
continue,
just public
I'm going to put this
deception.
meeting in recess.
Excuse me?
If you continue, you're out of order. If you continue, I'm going to put the meeting in recess.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm going to ask you to please let the next speaker speak, or we'll start his clock right now.
Okay. I want to just tell you something.
Okay, let's start the clock. Shinabo, it's your clock.
No, that's not his time. Let him speak.
You know, I've
Diane, let
never
him speak.
known, I've known a lot of
Mr. Schnabel,
arrogant
it's your time.
people. I've never known smart, arrogant people. Remember that. I've never known a smart, arrogant person.
Okay. Ms. Madden, I thank you for your comments.
First of
If you
all,
could please allow
I
the next
really
speaker to
strongly
speak.
suggest, because look, I watched Kate Murray crash and
Madden,
burn over the
Ms.
animal
Madden,
shelter.
you're out of order.
I watched
Please ask you
crash and
to
burn.
stop
I watched
acting
Laura
like a
crash
child
and burn.
and allow the
I
next
watched
person to speak. Your time is
Clayton crash
over.
and burn, and I'm watching you crash and burn. There's no TNR surgical van.
Okay, ma'am.
Other than moving it from
Ma'am.
one place to the other.
You're-
You did 3
You've now
tests in
spoken
4
for
hours.
almost 4 minutes.
Have a
Why do
good
you get
evening.
extra time and nobody else gets extra time?
I didn't ask for extra
Can
time.
you
I asked
please
you to
allow
answer
the
my
next speaker
question.
to speak?
You started answering me when you shut my microphone off. Please don't do that again, because I am
I
not
hope
your
you have a
typical
good night.
person
Thank
that's
you.
going to sit down and you're
You're acting
narcissistic is
unhinged
going
now.
to
Please,
respond
just
to me.
sit down and let the next speaker speak. Everyone gets a turn. They
Turn
get
his
3
back and
minutes.
I'll step away from the microphone.
Please let the next speaker speak. Please.
Are you turning it back?
Oh, he'll get his full time,
Can
Diane.
you please allow the next speaker? Somebody else wants to speak. Please.
Diane, he'll get his full
Just
time.
don't turn my microphone
He'll
off.
get his
I'm
full
not
time.
going to speak.
I know, you want to speak all night.
He'll get
Can
his
you
full
please
time.
turn it back to 3 minutes now and let the next speaker speak?
Exactly.
Mr. Joe Shinaba.
Weak threats.
Good evening, everybody. Joe Shinabalo. Look, I think that the overarching theme is that there's an extreme lack of clarity and consistency with this budget, right? Every year the town changes the way the budget's done, the process. They make it harder for residents to understand. This budget's no different.
Nope.
This budget is probably one of the most confusing budgets that I've had the opportunity to look through. And that's the issue, right? Like we're all up here and we're talking about numbers and nobody knows what's going on with this budget. There was amendments just made yesterday. And although you may have been working on it since August 5th, we just were made aware of it and it come to our attention recently. There's no transparency.
None.
There's no accountability in what's going on. And look, you referenced the 2022 audit, and then a bunch of laws that you're following the law. That's great, because a lot of the recommendations from the audit don't necessarily hit the floor of what the law is telling you to do. The audit makes recommendations to make it more transparent, more clean, and more digestible for the residents and the taxpayers who spend their hard-earned money here. And that's what's happening here today. We literally have a shell game going on. It is political theater. It's a shell game built on shifting sands. That's what's going on here. That's the reality of what's going on. And we did see in the beginning, and we brought it up, look, you guys were all just found guilty of violating open meetings law. So, I mean, it is hard to trust what we're seeing in a budget, especially as convoluted and inconsistent and incomprehensible as you're presenting it to us. There are a lot of questions, and the residents deserve the answers for those. Well, what I witnessed in the beginning was the illegally appointed supervisor have a series of direct questions, direct yes or no questions, to the people who are answering these budget questions. And I'm going to be honest with you. I see that a lot. Defense attorneys do that. Defense attorneys have those series of one answer questions, yes or no, so they can confuse people and get their point across. And that's what we're seeing here today. We're seeing a budget that just is confusing every resident in town because the levies do remain the same. You can talk about general funds, and it's dangerous to dip into the reserve funds. They don't even know how much they're going to dip. They dipped in the past 3-4 years. He even goes back 5 years. Guess what? Our taxes went up 12.1%. We have every right to be concerned. This is an inconsistent, unclear budget.
Just a few comments. Number one, I was a defense attorney. And you don't ask questions to confuse, you ask questions to clear things up.
I didn't ask you a question and I didn't ask you comments, thank you.
I understand that you're indicating there are a lot of questions out there that persist, yet you spent 3 minutes and didn't ask a single one.
And you were found in violation of public trust.
You indicated that
And you don't have any
this
business.
budget, sir, you're out of order. I asked you to
responding to
please,
me
you had your 3 minutes. Mr. Schnabel, you had your 3 minutes, you're now out of order.
Wait,
You are now out of order.
Now that the lawsuit's over.
Sir, I'm going to warn you to please stop.
On October 28th, we're on the property, everybody be there.
Okay, so you indicated this was not a transparent budget. Let's just talk about things. This budget, I was due to present the budget by what date, Mr. Mascherino? What day did I have to present the budget?
September 30th.
And what day did I present the budget?
26th.
So 4 days early.
Yes.
So everyone that wanted to see the original budget that I presented could have had an extra 4 days to see it, correct?
It's on the website.
Not if you're working 2 and 3 jobs.
Referred to.
Not if you're working 2 and 3 jobs to pay the taxes here.
Excuse me, ma'am, please, we have a certain level of decorum here, I'd ask you to please respect that.
Really? Okay.
Those 2 amendments did not require to be put on the website or noticed 24 hours in advance, yet we did, in an effort to be even more transparent than legally required. Is that correct, Mr. Mascherino?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, I just wanted to make that clear. Now, I have nobody else that has signed in. Does anybody else wish to be heard on the budget? Anyone that did not sign in?
Everybody else on the
Okay.
payroll.
Does any board member wish to be heard?
Why? They get freedom of speech?
May I have a motion?
I move that the board pass this item.
Second?
Second.
Supervisor Brady?
Aye.
Councilman Dunn?
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller?
Aye.
Councilman Mascarello?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Aye.
Councilman Schneider?
Thank you, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Will you second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk?
Supervisor Brady?
Aye.
Councilman Dunn?
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller? Councilman Mascarello? Councilwoman Ryder?
Aye.
Councilman Schneider?
Okay, I thank you all for coming, and I hope you get home safe and have a good night.